The Painful Excellence Podcast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Pull up a chair. Let's get to it. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. This is Painful Excellence Podcast. Yeah. Salute to my family over there on Rumble. Yeah, we're doing a bit of everything. Come on in and smash the like button. Oh, man. Let's do this roll call because I got questions. My brother One Deep, salute. Rod Neal, St. Louis Mix, Real Spill Midwest Boston Talk, Wild Sniper, Hen Dog, Aaron Butler, Columbia, salute. Salute to all my family. All right. There's been a lot of things going on in the news. I like putting the mirror up in people's face. There's a lot going on in society. And it's just not right. It's disgusting, to be honest with you. For those of you that follow my boxing channel, actually I said it this morning. You know what I'm saying? This morning, you know, I said I like to put the mirror in front of people's face so they can have a look at themselves. And unfortunately, most times they don't get the message. It's a sad state of affairs when they don't get that message. Welcome down, Van Howder. Salute to you, brother. 88 Sports Talk, Universal Truth. Yes, sir. My apologies. I'm trying to make sure that the StreamYard catches up with the rest of everything. So, y'all see, I do these memes, but my memes tell stories. For those of you that y'all might be in your 20s or early 30s, I was born in 1975. And Jose, what up? I came up in the 70s and 80s. I recall the time coming on, like when I was looking at the TV, and there was a big, yeah, I'll talk about that tomorrow, 88. There was a big movement for not sexualizing women. We're more than just a body. Derek Gaines, a legend, salute. We're more than just a body. We have brains. Y'all remember that song? Sisters are doing it for themselves. You remember that? Standing on our own 2 feet. Remember that? I remember that well. You know, and I get it, you know. And they didn't want to be sexualized. They wanted to be looked at for what they can contribute to society with their minds. And I hear that. I have a lot of brilliant women in my family. They have degrees. They're family women. You know, I watched the shift. I watched the shift in behavior. I watched the shift in as far as I guess behavior and income goes hand in hand, because I'm noticing When all else fails, women are saying, screw these degrees. When I turn 18, I'm going to create an OnlyFans. And they have total disregard. They have total disregard for their family, the immediate family. They have total disregard for their friends because they're about their bag. And F everything else, right? It's a very weird dynamic that these women are operating under. And I personally, I loathe it, to be honest with you. I loathe it. Because I hold women accountable, but there's a time and place for everything. The women that I'm used to seeing as ladies of the night, from when I was a legal teenager to my young adulthood, you had to pay money to go inside of a club to watch them. And if that was their line of work, that was their line of work. But when they left the club, they hid that. They didn't own it. To be honest with you, a lot of those women were doing it. It wasn't a career. They were just doing it to get ahead, paying some bills. And that was like the last resort. It was either, yo, I gotta, dance and make this money because I have to make the ends meet at the end of the month. I'm a single mother, not by choice. There's always a choice outside of, assault, but it wasn't something to grandstand about. You got to understand, as a man, mentally, I was in a different place when I was in my early 20s. I was just on Stormy's show yesterday, and I said, a lot of the movies that I watched growing up, when you rewatch them again, they hit you different. You start noticing, man, a lot of people died in this film, man. You start looking at things different. We was discussing Surviving the Game with Ice-T and Charles S. Dutton yesterday, and I'm like, man, that's pretty grim, What happens to those homeless people when you see them every day? Next thing you know, they vanish. What's really going on? I just saw a news video today. A woman was going to get her hair and nails done or something, and she just disappeared. And I text Stormy. I said, wasn't we just talking about this just last night? Crazy stuff. But what I'm saying is things hit me different now. There's a lot of things I see in fantasy that I relate to real life. And I say, man, what if this is real, this is tragic. But you do know that a lot of science fiction comes from facts, or just fiction. It don't have to be science. It's just fiction. It can come from facts. Now, getting back to what I'm saying, I've watched the dynamic of women change over the last 4 decades. I've watched it. Are they more educated today? Well, that depends. They're not the highest educated. They're the most enrolled in school. Do they get degrees? Yeah, but check some of those degrees. Check some of those degrees. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but just check some of those degrees. And when they get those degrees, they're in college debt for the next decade. Seriously, the next 10 years. They're in college debt. Which is why when they turn 18, rather than using that brain that their mothers and their grandmothers now was using and not using their bodies, they were using their minds. Instead of doing that, the cheapest way to do it is to start an OnlyFans. Women in their 50s starting an OnlyFans. What are you doing? What happened to don't sexualize me? I'm more than just my body. What happened to that? You know what? A lot of these women doing that today weren't around when that was a whole thing about sexual harassment in the workplace and respect women and all that stuff. Because that's what I was seeing on television and posters all over New York. That's what I was seeing. So I'm looking at it now. I'm like, how the hell did we get here? And I couldn't figure out for the life of me as time went on, what the hell happened? Well, I'm going to break it down to you this evening. I'm going to break it down and I need you to pay attention. Okay? Now, I'm going to make a statement and I'm just going to break this shit down to y'all. These fornicators done invaded the damn church. Who's enabling this behavior? Who is enabling this awful behavior? What I call smut behavior. Who's enabling that? Wolf in sheep's clothing, man. These heathens somehow have gotten into the church, and once you compromise the word of God, and I'm not going to preach on y'all, but once you've compromised the word of God and dumbed it down, you've made the airhead women, and I'm focused on the women, because y'all are smart and everything. For a whole lot of y'all to be smart, y'all make a lot of bad decisions. The loudest mouth about how bad men are be the woman that got several kids from 7 different baby daddies. And all of those men bamboozled you with your doctorate and everything else. This is how you get these what do you call, what's that woman's name? Cynthia G. That's how you get things like that. I'm like, whoa, she's really like calling for the death of young black men, babies, calling us bullet bags. And then I find out she's a baby mama and the baby daddy got like 5 other kids out of wedlock. And I don't think she was the first choice. I think she was his last kid that she had. And because he didn't conform, because your coochie didn't turn into sunshine when you threw it in the air for him, you declared war on women. And all she did was rally a bunch of chicks that made horrible decisions just like her. So what you have on those podcasts is one big, giant trauma session. I'm sorry. Yes, trauma session. And they all bond with each other. It's called trauma bonding. That's what it's called. And I'm noticing that once the sisters are doing it for themselves and they're going to school and, you know, the brother stepped out the way. Okay, we're not going to stop you to do that. We're not chauvinist. You want to work? Go ahead and work. There's nothing wrong with a couple working and he make 80,000 and you make 80,000 on a joint. That's 160,000 a year. I mean, you would think that's a great thing for a couple, right? No, these sisters say, no, I make 80,000 and I take half his stuff. What's mine is mine and what's his is mine. And then when you say, hey, sister, that's not right. Y'all are, that's the teamwork that you say you wanted, right? Then they start talking about what their grandmas went through. And let them tell it. Women were damn near slaves with dog collars on their neck. And that's the furthest from the truth. I'm telling you, that's the furthest from the truth. My grandparents were married on both sides. And check this out. The women ran the damn household. They ran the household, man. The most married, the least divorced. Did they have problems? Sure. Just like every other married couple has some sort of issues. But we had a strong family dynamic. You sisters went to work. You sisters, some of you accepted Uncle Sam, and I talk about this all the time. You accepted Uncle Sam as your zaddy and then said, I don't need daddy. I want zaddy. That's what y'all did. And they convinced you that you don't need no man. And decades later, right now, we have anarchy. And one of the things they did to goof up the black household was they infiltrated the black church. Did y'all know that? Well, let me explain. Jamal Bryant, y'all know who he is? And that's his new wife. Well, he's in the news as of lately because his wife wore that dress. And she's very curvy. And I watched his breakdown of what happened and everything else. This dude, if gaslight was a living form, it's him. I couldn't have sat there. I'd have challenged him on everything. I'd have got escorted out. And you know who I saw popping their collars and screaming, saying amen, catching the Holy Ghost over his words? It was nothing but a bunch of black women doing that. I'm like, oh my God, this is what it's come to? He said, I bought the dress. Okay, why do I have to see that? That's your wife, man. Women that dress like, not these sisters right here, but women that dress like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and Jamal Bryant's wife, that's what they wore walking to the stage before they take it all off. I'm not kidding. That's a streetwalker outfit, and you're in a damn church. You're supposed to be a man of God's wife. Let me read to you some of his controversies, because I heard about them, but I never really cared to speak on them until today, because I'm looking at this like, wait a minute, what's with this dude? And then I started researching, and I said, oh, I remember that. Jamal Bryant's controversies primarily center on past infidelity. Okay, so he got a problem keeping his dick in his pants, including paternity claims and marital issues with his ex-wife, Giselle Bryant, of Real Housewives of Potomac fame. So, okay, so his wife was on a reality show. So here we go. This is your man of God? Infidelity. The flesh is weak, right? Leading to public scrutiny and questions about his leadership. You think? Though he often frames these as personal growth experiences. Stop it, bro. He's in his 50s. Cut it out. More recently, a minor situation involving his new wife, Carrie Bryant, fashion choices drawing social media commentary, but his biggest leadership challenge involved succeeding a controversial Eddie Long at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. Key controversies and issues: infidelity and paternity claims, 2000 and 2010s. Bryant faced multiple accusations of infidelity during his first marriage to Giselle Bryant, including public paternity claims by other women, plural, which he eventually acknowledged and addressed as learning experiences. So what he didn't say those kids weren't his. He didn't say that. Yes, indeed, Boxing. I see y'all. And if I miss you in the chat, know that I love you. Salute. I'm just cooking right now. I appreciate you guys. So he calls it a learning experience. That's what he calls it. What's the true definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and expecting different results. This man is insane. Or he's just comfortable. Transitioned to the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in 2018, taken over from the late controversial Pastor Eddie Long at New Birth in Georgia, brought renewed scrutiny, with some questioning his past and suitability, while others saw his experience as a strength of healing. Who did I just tell y'all was standing up and screaming, "Praise the Lord," when he was justifying what his wife had on. He attacked pastors. This is the gaslight part. Some of you pastors are overweight, and y'all sit there and talk about women's weight. Some crap he said. I'm like, what does that have to do? Are they walking around with tight pants so you can see the imprint of their penis? I mean, what are we doing here? What are you saying? Who are you to judge? Listen, if you need the help of a police officer, Mr. DJ, salute. If you need the help of a police officer and you walk up to a guy in a police officer's uniform and you start spilling your guts, hey man, someone broke into my car and stole my radio, if they still even do that, and did this and did that, and then the guy's looking at you and then he says, well, I'm not a cop, I'm just dressed like one. And it's not even Halloween. It's like July. Well, you know, you go to a person dressed like an officer because you need help. If this chick walked into a club, you know, back in the day, to me, I'm like, oh, it's grind time. I'm on that. I'm on that. Yeah. That had nothing to do with what his wife had on. He publicly stated that his personal struggles with infidelity have made him more empathetic and better equipped to lead a congregation through pain and challenges, viewing his scars as a source of strength in ministry. Bullshit. In essence, Jamal Bryant's controversies are largely linked to the personal failings in his past marriages and public perception as a spiritual leader, balanced by his own narrative of redemption and growth. Let me cut to the bullshit. He's full of shit. He's full of shit. Mansa Musa, my brother, salute. He's full of shit. But you should have saw, it's all over social media. Just watch how he's explaining himself and look at who's jumping up, catching the Holy Ghost. It's the sisters in there. What he did was he basically gave the okay for women to dress how they want. And any man that says, you know what, I'm not, Mr. Ishmael, salute, I'm not leaving the crib, but we're not going anywhere with you dressed like that. What do women say? When you say, hey man, you know, I'm not that, I don't do that. What do they say? You're insecure. You're insecure. I mean, that's like right at the tip of their tongue as soon as they say, oh, why are you so insecure? I ain't insecure. Why do these sisters, Mark Wunderlich, salute, why do these sisters try and supplement respect with insecure? They go right to insulting your intelligence, because that's what it is. They go right to insulting your intelligence. They don't even play with it. I'm gonna do what I want, and if you say I'm gonna wear what I want, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna call you insecure. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had respect for yourself. I didn't know that me being insecure would you walking with your ass out and me standing against that and not being okay with it makes me insecure. The real question is, why do you want to walk with your ass out? Do y'all understand me? Do y'all follow me? Why a grown woman with all this education and all this money, why do you want to try me? Because that's what these women are doing. Gentlemen, your woman is supposed to be your piece. She's supposed to be your completer, not your competer. And what's happened now is that women with all these equal rights, and I'm not saying they don't deserve equal rights, because that's what feminism really is. Feminism got lost in the shuffle, and women don't even realize it. But we're talking about respect here. How are you taking power? How are you owning it? When I say it, I mean your whole being. By walking with your ass out. Who are you trying to impress? What are you trying to prove? Who are you challenging? Why are you trying to piss off a man? For what? A man that you claim you love or like, at least? I've seen women getting fights with, they initiate fights with men just to see if they fight hard enough for their approval. They fight hard enough for their love in their mind. Why you didn't fight hard enough for me? You said you didn't want to be bothered. I show up to your crib to pick you up. You coming out with a dress that I see the top of your nipples, the browns of your nipples, I see the areolas, and you got a slit all the way up to the bottom part of your rib. And if the wind blow, we see your ass crack. I don't agree with this dress. Not only does it make you look like a streetwalker, but we're going to a place and you don't know, some man could probably try and hit on you and you say no thank you, and I do a manly thing and say, yo, it's all right, Paul, she's with me, and now I'm into it with some ignorant dude. But you're asking for it, and what do you want me to do? Defend your honor? Why would you put me in that position? Daddy, hug me. That's all I hear. That's all I see. Because my daughter won't do this. My nieces won't do this. Something called respect. And never mind respect for your significant other. You should respect yourself. This dress was out of pocket. But the bigger thing was, and Sultan Andre Toppin in that super chat, much love, man. He says, what's up, OG? I'm on a job, good brother. Salute to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll tell you something, man. I put emphasis on the damn church. Because you got this dude. Now, these women, they claim they want a good man, right? Now, follow me on this. These women claim they want a good man, a man of substance. He has to have a job. Well, all men should have a job, but he has to make a certain amount of money, look a certain way, be built a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Drive certain things. And this dude with his reputation is leading an entire congregation. His wife comes out wearing that dress, and he's saying, I bought the dress. All right, fine, brother. But why do I see your wife's naked ass? Why? Yeah, I know you want to get home to her. Okay, but how about y'all go in your house, close your door, and have her prance around the house in the dress? I don't need to know this. But it's not only him. I saw the change in the church over 2 decades ago. I would pop in and out, in and out to certain places, and I'm like, what's going on here? This sister here, this sister, everybody got wide hips, big booties. I seen them do doo-doo brown in church. I'm sorry, y'all know that as twerking. In the 90s, it was called doo-doo brown. And I'm looking around and I got very uncomfortable. I'm like, what's happening here? How did the church get like this? Look at who you let in. Look at who you let in. Look at who you, and see the women. Let me tell you how dangerous this is. Women lead the charge in everything. Women determine what men do. Do y'all even realize that? Let me work backwards for y'all. Women decide what looks good. Women decide what looks good. Women decide the fashion. Eric Jordan in that super chat salute, he says, this passing his wife is out of order. They're all out of order, brother. Lately, in the last, I want to say maybe 7 years, around, well, longer than that. I'm going to say about 14 years about. Rick Ross came out, the bald head with the beard, and that became a thing. Did y'all know that? I know some of y'all a little younger. It became a thing. Bald headed with big beards. It became a thing. I never liked that. Like for me personally, you know, I have sensitive skin. I had the chin straps or whatever. But growing it out was hard for me. I used to have to brush my face constantly because my hair itches. But I had the connecting, because about a decade prior to that, it was the thin chin strap with the goatee. It was that. Then prior to that, it was just the goatee. I'm going backwards now. Then it was hook sideburns. Well, out here it was hook sideburns. I brought that back because I saw my dad rocking that in the 70s. I saw a picture of him. I said, I'm bringing that back. But I noticed that these were things that women liked. You dress to impress, right? That's why these young dudes are running out buying these True Religion jeans that cost like $2,000 or whatever. Meanwhile, some of y'all only making $30,000 a year. Why you own a pair of $2,000 jeans? I don't understand it. To impress who? A woman? Women's minds change like the wind. Just let it be. 1 minute they like this, the next minute they like that. In a few years, the big beard look may go away and it's going to be something else. Happens all the time, but women determine that. Women determine that. They determine what's hot as far as music is concerned. Because to be honest with you, I'm going to use rap music as an example. I was about battle raps and ciphers and, but you know what women like? You know what sold? Well, I was listening to all kinds of battle raps and there was a radio show out here called Underground Railroad. That's when, and it came on it was Stretch and Bobito. It was Underground Railroad. And what they did was they played a lot of mixtapes and rappers locally to look out for. I listened to shit like that. I used to buy the mixtapes in the street. Kid Capri, SNS, Craig G, the DJ, not the rapper. Salute to the rapper, Craig G. I know him personally. The Original Symphony. Juice Crew, salute. But you know what was selling? LL Cool J. Heavy D. The love rap songs. The party rap songs. They determine that. Now, where am I going with this? I just said that these women that want these stellar men, the pure definition of the wrong man to pick is in charge of this church. His name is Jamal fucking Bryant. He is not the man you want to be with. And as flawed as he is, he walks into this fucking church and his wife, damn near naked, or looked like she was naked, representing him. And what does he represent? Red Lipstick Bob, salute my queen. Great to see you. What does she represent? What does he represent? Infidelity, children out of wedlock, and he calls it a learning experience. I'm sorry. Most women with their head straight say, nah, he's a lying-ass dog. And he thinks with the little head instead of the big one. Because that's what it is. Y'all throw all that aside. You will throw all of that aside because of his status. And he don't mind his wife walking around looking like a streetwalker because he bought the dress. You need a man like that with that type of status who's not quote unquote insecure to let you walk around dressed like a streetwalker. Where are we? Where are we? And this is the church? This is the church? Look at his reputation. Look what he bought his wife, and look at how she wore it, and look at how he attacked people for saying that's not appropriate. Let me ask all the men here. First, you go to a formal dance and your parents are there. You already know where I'm going with this. And she shows up in that. You say, oh no, Mom, don't worry. I bought that dress for her. So what? That's how your mama raised you? Wait, son, you bought her that? And you're introducing her to me? Wearing that? What are you doing? What kind of person is she? You see what I mean? Now, ladies, do you wear that to meet your husband or your boyfriend's parents? Do you wear that? Let's say they already know that. Do you go to a formal dinner wearing that around your husband's parents? I hope not. What in the name of freak shit is this? Man, my grandma would have probably beat her ass and she'd have got thrown out. Like, what? What is this? I don't care if you enabled this. I taught you better than this. She's a hooker. Oh, she's not? Wait, she sure is dressed like one. And this is the church? And this ain't the only church behaving like this. And all I saw was women jumping up. Amen, amen. What are y'all doing? And then turn right around and say, you want a good man? Let me ask y'all a question based off of what we've seen. Now, listen, I'm not Jesus, and I know Jesus is forgiving, but let me tell you something. If your daughter brought this nigga home, Mom, I'm dating a man that leads a church, and you're like, oh, man, that's great. Oh, he has a big old following. Oh, man, that's great. Can't wait to meet him. And this nigga walked through your door. Like, wait a minute. Don't I know you? Infidelity, cheating on your wife, children out of wedlock, been sued. You admitted you have a problem with infidelity? Get out my house. That's a false prophet. And all I saw was these sisters in there. Amen, amen, amen. And you ain't gonna have no man. Amen? Boss. Because I don't know one brother in that congregation that saw what I saw and said, I'll go in here and praise God, but you know what? I see Sister Claudette, Sister Miriam, Sister Judith, Sister Ann over there. I was eyeballing them for a second, but I'm not rocking with that dress, because you can go to church and use what I call the shopping cart method. You can go in there. When you go shopping at a grocery store, do you buy everything? No. You go in there and get what you need, you leave. Sometimes you might buy some things you ain't planning on buying, but whatever. Tim Harmon, salute. And I've been to a few churches. The 90s, I noticed the shift. I said, what's happening? 2000s, I went to someone else's church and I'm like, what is happening? I've never seen so many fitted dresses. What happened to the old ladies with the big hats? Dressed from head to toe. 95 degrees in July. They still coming to church dressed head to toe. All you saw was their bumpy knuckles and their rings on. Professional ass whoopers in the pulpit. Don't act up. Now I see these sisters coming to church. I don't know whether you coming to church or coming to slide down the pole. What y'all doing? And this one in Atlanta in Atlanta, Georgia, wherever they at. Listen, this actually makes sense. Dion, salute, brother. It actually makes sense. This is what they're doing. False prophet. False profit. I bet you're a millionaire though, or close to it. I don't want to hear shit this dude got to say, cause man. And I think he DL. He was on what's his name? What's the football player name with the podcast? Told him he had nice legs. I was like, what? Hold on, man. Hold on. This ain't happening. This ain't happening. But it did. Told him he had nice legs, and I said, you know, I wasn't sure at first, but Cam Newton, thank you, Enoch. Cam Newton told Cam Newton he had nice legs. And I said, you know, wasn't sure at first, but I'm clear right now. And plus, it's Atlanta, man. It's Atlanta. I'm not saying all the brothers get down like that, but you know that lifestyle is out loud down there, and you know what? That church. Listen, and he's got whatever he's did before. He's gonna do it again. He's gonna do it again. My brother 503 line in the building. Salute. Dude, gonna do it again. So all the people in that damn church, man, good luck to you. I'll pray for you for real. I'll pray for you for real. But this guy's bad fucking news. And I don't like it. He's bad news and I don't like it. And I just want to make this point. When you see, because I'm sure it's on YouTube. Shout out to Pink Book Lessons, because that's where I watched it. And I'm listening to it, but I'm watching the congregation and I was disgusted. I was absolutely disgusted. And this is where these women are. It's okay when he buys the smutty dress and he allows, well, not allows, he gives the okay, because a man can't say, I won't allow a woman or my woman to do this. I do what I want to do. I do what I want to do. You can do what you want to do, but guess what? I don't have to deal with it. As a man, I don't have to deal with it. I'm not insecure. You just don't respect me. And you try my patience. And I have a lot of that. But you know what? I choose my sanity over a piece of ass any day.
Whoa!
Amen. Brothers, don't ever be around some chick that's always trying to push your buttons, make you angry, and do silly shit like that. If she knows what makes you peaceful and she don't respect it, get away from her. Because she's not going to stop. What evil person wants to see you snap? If he bought her that dress, the proper thing for her to do would be like, I'm wearing this around the house. I ain't wearing this outside. You know I'm not wearing this outside. Choose your peace, fellas. You don't need to be around chaos. And all I saw was these, Lord have mercy. There was a woman with jerry curls in the audience. Talking about, hey, man. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This guy's full of shit. Dead ass, he's full of shit. Y'all gonna see. Which brings us to this other fool right here, Dr. Cayenne Bryant. Who's that? These are her degrees, undergraduate, double degrees in psychology. That's the problem. And Pan-African Studies from Cal State University, Northridge. Masters, she has a master's. Now listen to this. A master's in marriage, family and child therapy from the University of Phoenix. Isn't that an online college? I'm just asking. A doctorate in counseling psychology from Argosy University. Additional, she has also received other doctorates emphasizing her dedication to healing and self-fulfillment. Okay, listen. She discredited herself with all these doctorates and shit. She discredited herself when she went to that function and everybody could see her hoo-ha. She's not an ugly woman, but why is she outside dressed like that? Auntie Jenny, salute. Yeah, Auntie, yeah, I do believe that. Those are made-up qualifications. University of Phoenix, I think that's an online school. It's accredited, but that's an online school. These people are running around getting doctorates in basket weaving. And then they do a goddamn podcast. And do I say I know it all? No. But let me look up something else about her. She's from Basketball Wives. She's a therapist from, okay, this is the problem right here. She's from, she's a psychology expert, renowned life coach, and co-producer of MTV's nominated Best Unscripted Reality Show, Teen Mom Family Reunion, ranked #1 author in Success. Please, featured in Forbes, Oprah, Inside. Okay, this is a train wreck. As soon as I saw Oprah Winfrey's name, as soon as I saw her goddamn name, all right? Unbelievable. Is she married? Hold on. Hold on. Oh, look at this. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant doesn't really have a doctorate. I mean, look, I'm not going to drag her for that. She's not licensed. Look, there's a lot of people talking. Look, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to degrade her. I don't want to degrade her her accomplishments. That's not what this is about. What I'm saying is, let's say all of those doctorates that she has is official. Can I ask why the fuck is she out and about with a bikini on under a fucking see-through dress? Please explain that. Please explain that. Now, she's a doctor, right? Let's say you need a psychologist. You going to work with her? Exactly, Auntie Jenny. She's clearly degrading herself. Clearly. Please explain in what universe, as a man, now, right, as a man, you going to talk with her about some real shit? Or are you, now watch this. Let's say your wife or your girlfriend. You're like, I got to go see a psychologist. I need some help. Okay, honey, who you going to see? Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Oh, okay. And then you Google her and this comes up. Ladies, are you comfortable with your man going to get help, mental help from this woman? And then she's on Basketball Wives. Look, man, this woman's a glorified entertainer and she solidified it with this. I'm not taking her serious at her profession in anything. Let me tell you something. When I worked at the Titty Boss, the woman would come in with a baseball cap, a coat on, some Timbs, because I live in the Bronx, and some jeans. And they go in the back, they get all made up, and when they come out the back, they were dressed like Dr. Bryant, and they sit at the bar and wait for dudes to buy them drink. And when we say, come to the stage, light-skinned booty clapping Brenda. And Brenda gets up off the seat in that dress and she gets on the damn pole and spins around and the dress comes up or comes off and she starts dancing, whatever. And she does 3 songs and then she gets off the goddamn stage and puts that dress back on. Stephen says she's been engaged 7 to 9 times. If that's something to how the fuck are you? Really? She said that? That's real? Bro, she said she was engaged 7 to 9 times, well, let me say this. Now I'm interested in that. Who broke off the engagement? And if she's the one that broke off the engagement, I'm willing to bet she's gonna find fault. Of course, she finds fault with the man, but I'm willing to bet if you talk to the man, he'll say some shit like, yo, man, she was just too much. She was doing too much. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going anywhere with my wife if she's dressed like that. And if she's insistent, I'm going to tell her flat out, I'm going to be insistent on these divorce papers. You're not going to embarrass me. What you do with yourself, and I'm not around, you know, I don't fucking own you, but check this out. If you choose to go out with your friends dressed like that, and I'm not around too, I already know, first of all, I know you're going crazy. I know there's something going on with you. You're crazy. But I don't respect women as my wives that dress like that. Ever. Ever. And you represent me. You got my last name. You represent me. And God damn it, if you choose to go out there like that, and I got eyes and ears everywhere. They be like, yo, that's Drew's wife? What the fuck? What you got going on? It's not insecure. You just don't respect me and you don't respect yourself. What? Just for me to say, yo, I'm not comfortable with that dress. Why are you insecure? What? Why do you want to disrespect me? You don't respect yourself? Check this out. Go ahead out with that dress and see what happened. You know what happens, right? Shit is over. Because you know why? There's no compromise with dressing like this. There's no compromise or anything. I need to know why you want to go out dressed like a hooker. I need to know that. What are you going through right now? What are you going through in your mind? Why do you feel the need to do that? I'm going to tell you something else. No man that saw her that night would say, hey, man, she'd make a good wife. Dressed like that, I see why she was engaged 7 to 9 times and never married. Says she told Shannon Sharp that she would not sign a prenup either. In reference to her shit? In reference to her shit? I don't know. Does she mean if she meets that athlete? Because only a dumbass athlete with a capital D for D's nuts, because D be nuts. Oh no, to his? So if the dumbass NFL, MLB, NBA player decides to wife it, she's not signing his prenup. Oh man, she's never getting married. No. I mean, there's always Zion Williams. You always go that route. He's dumb as a bag of rocks. I mean, you can always go there. And good luck. If I've generated millions of dollars and she comes along and we're dating, first of all, at this point, if I was on that type of time and I was in that type of tax bracket and I was single and she came along, and I'm telling you right now, you know, the only way I'm entertaining her would be for the beats. That's it. Because after this, seeing this dress, no, I'm not taking you seriously. No. And she can ask me why and try and play games with words and say, listen, man, I have psychiatrists and they're women in my family. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. So she couldn't mind fuck me at all. But I'd play the game. And I would always circle back like, yeah, you know what bothered me? That video of you wearing that damn dress. Well, we're dating. Yeah, we're dating. We're dating. We're not serious. watch the mind flip, right? Right. Watch this. You're a career woman. You're a millionaire. Basketball wives, right? Cam Newton show. You got your own bag. I don't own you. See the mind flip? I don't own you. You're free as a bird to fly out on stage. Y'all don't know that bar. Who said that? Free as a bird that flies out on stage. Who said that? I bet nobody in here know. Little hip hop trivia. Who said that? That's a bar. That bar's older than some of y'all in the chat. Free as a bird that flies out on stage. Ain't here for no fronting, just to say a little something. Yeah, y'all know. Bronx native. That's the only hint I'm going to give you. Bronx native. But I'll tell her, yo, you free to do what you want to do. We just having fun, you know. I ain't got to violate you or treat you any kind of way. We go out, we eat, we hang out, whatever. We take some pictures. You know, you're the star. You know, we're adults. We have casual sex. That's the end of it. You know, you go home to your whole $1 million condo or home, whatever you got. I go home to my shit. Marriage, what's that? We need no marriage. Nah, hen dog, not Big L. Way before Big. That bar is older than Big L. Well, you know what? It may not be. It may not be. He said it was at the Beatles. Hell no. It's a rapper. Bronx native. I will put it all on her. Like, yo, you know, we're not married. We're not, you know, taking that leap. Nah, not Rakim. Not Rakim. Bronx. Rakim is from Long Island. There you go, my man. There you go. See? Criminal Minded. That's the song, Criminal Minded. That's the album. 80s. Free as a bird that flies out on stage. Ain't here for no fronting, just to say a little something. Scotland Rock Boulevard. Jerome and Kingsbridge. Yeah. When that came out, 85? 85, 86? Around that, yeah. BDP, Boogie Down Productions. That's right. Yeah, man. So, no chick like this could mind fuck me. No chick like this could, after this right here, y'all do understand, I don't care what walk of life you are. I don't care if you make $25,000 a year. She couldn't run game on you after doing this, because you know why? Once you say you're a doctor and you're a psychologist and everything else, you know what I'm saying? Freeze, what up? You know she's supposed to be held to a higher standard. Everybody in this meme, with the exception of the dude on the left playing with the hose. I like how I did that, right? The doctor, the pastor, his wife, they're held to a higher standard. My brother Freeze in that super chat, much love, man. Salute to you, good brother. Much love. Thank you so much. You're held to a higher standard. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a good relationship with your parents, don't you hold them to a higher standard? They're held to a higher standard. You're a doctor. You're a practicing doctor. I took you at your word. I'm not on here to challenge whether, I already done seen it, right? I didn't even bother to read it. Oh, she don't really have a doctorate. She's really not real. I'm not getting into all of that. I want to know what she's doing. Is she helping people? I don't want to cut down her credentials. I don't want to do that. She said she's a doctor. Okay, so I'm going to treat you like a doctor. What happens if you go see your dentist and he's talking to you one way, saying, yeah, you need to do this, and I have to do some bridge work, and yeah, you know, and you shake his hand and leave. And then, you know, you're at some hole-in-the-wall club underground. You know what I'm saying? And then you look to your left, and who's pissy drunk with a 5 o'clock shadow, looking like a drunk college kid. It's your dentist, and he was just up in your mouth earlier that day. Ain't you gonna be like, oh, wait, hold on. What the fuck? What? This is just as silly. I don't know who this chick is, but this chick did pornography, and she had some epiphany, some awakening, and now she's a mom, and she wants to, Night Train salute, she wants to erase the entire internet of her work. That is mathematically impossible. And as soon as she said that, dudes went and found her clips all on these porn sites, and they downloaded all of them. So it's never going away. My thing is this: you did it, man. Now you just stand on it. The best thing for you to do is just disappear. And when your child gets of age, just tell them the truth. Mommy was a little more than a streetwalker. She was getting pounded out for money. That was her name, Lana Rhodes, or whatever her name. I don't know. It's a white chick. I know she was on there crying. Man, don't cry. Stand on it, right? I went from watching these women talk about, I'm more than just a body. I'm brains. And I could work and I could do this. And we were like, cool. Sexual harassment was a big thing in the 80s. There was commercials about it and everything. It was a big thing. And now look. Girls ton them out. As soon as I turn 18, I'm gonna go to OnlyFans, and they be making $1 million in half a year. There was pervs waiting for a 17-year-old child to have her birthday for her to see. Oh my God, this world we're cooked. We are cooked. It's over. Says she put a rapper Offset on blast for DMing her for help, but she lied and said he was trying to holler at. He later came out and exposed her. Oh, she did? That happened? You see, now I don't like her. Before, I just wasn't thinking no way about her. I'm like, all right, well, she just exposed herself to be like every other 3 or 4 that I know about. That's why I have a holding that sign, lie for profit. Because real queens are not for profit. They really use those degrees they went to school for. They really do cover up. They really do respect themselves and their significant others. They really do put themselves in positions to be courted. This right here, this last meme right here, that's attractive, fully clothed, pretty in the face, smelling good, business-minded. You don't have to ask her, what do you bring to the table? Because she could balance a checkbook. She can catch things in the bank account that you may missed. She could sit down and say, well, we could grow our money. I have ideas. And y'all can sit down and politic. Those are queens right there. This bitch just says, I'm a fucking doctor. And when a rapper reaches out for help, she says, no, he's trying to holler. And then she shows up to a goddamn dance with her ass out, literally. I want to meet her clientele. I want to see who they look. I want to meet them. I want to see what kind of clientele she has. Because moving forward, no dude can go sit at her and not think about this damn dress. Auntie Jenny says, I went to see a professional and he started talking ghetto. I had to ask him who he was trying to converse with, as I don't speak like that. And I didn't understand him. I didn't go back. You see, he shot himself in his own foot and he thought he had one. Oh, this is one of ours, so she's one of mine, and so she'll understand when I talk like that. Nah, man, leave that shit at home. Leave that shit at home. Don't talk like that. J. Bean, salute. She said it. Oh, yeah, and the Cam Newton, yeah, she was just kind of bugged out. But you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, what is she leading with? Not her doctorates. She's for sale. Just beat and repeat. Just beat and repeat. You know, back in the 90s, right? I was going on all these job interviews. Like I was out of high school. I was going on these job interviews and I'm throwing on a tie and a shirt and I'm hopping on a train going downtown to these places. And one of the best things that I like to see in the morning was you had to see these women going to work. So I'm taking a train all the way from the Bronx into Manhattan, and you had to see some of these women. Black women, the Latinas, right? They getting on in the Bronx and they getting off the train, 34th Street, 72nd Street, you know what I mean? You should see them. They had suits on and they were all pretty, smelling good. And I'm like, man, these chicks are hot, man. These chicks were hot. You trying to look through their blazer like, oh man, I could tell she got this one chick. She used to get on the train. She had like big calves. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? Turns out one day I was at a track. I was working out at the track. And who walks up? That woman. Never said anything to her. Don't even know her name. But she was a runner. That's why her calves are so big. She was in shape. And she had like her hair pulled back with some nerdy looking circle glasses, looking like a lawyer. I said, man, I used to fantasize like, man, she's hot. But everything was left to the imagination. These days, nothing's left to the imagination. These motherfuckers are false prophets and they lie for profit. Real women don't do that. They don't do that. And young men, I need to tell y'all, they don't even have to be young men. You could be an older motherfucker and you with a chick that's going through some sort of midlife crisis. Those be the worst situations. You're in your mid 40s and now you want to turn up. Man, at my old job, they'd be like, yo, man, come out with us Friday, man. We're gonna go out and turn up. Turn up, nigga. I take naps. I'm sleepy. What you mean? Turn up. After a hard day's work, I eat some food. I come home, I take a shower, eat some food. I sit on this couch. I start nodding immediately. Nah. I can't do it like I used to. There was one weekend, I came in on a Sunday morning and I sat down and I picked up my remote controller. I called myself about to play some PlayStation. Next thing you know, I'm waking up off my floor. And I said, oh, it's 6 p.m.? I said, wait a minute. I thought it was just 8 in the morning. I passed out. Friday, I went and worked at the club. Got off at 3 in the morning. My dumb ass ain't go home. I went to go see this girl. All day with her. Then she wanted to go somewhere. I jumped up with her. We was outside all day. Ate some food, came back in the crib, smashed again. By the time I was goofing around with her, I said, yo, I got to go back to the club. It was 7 p.m. Went back there. I'm standing up, wired. Back then I drank. Got off work at like 4 in the morning. Hopped in the car, drove all the way home. Sun was coming up, came in, sat down. I said, yo, let me play this quick game real quick. Next thing you know, I had a rug in my room, right? And I had a futon, right? And I sat on the futon. I had the control in my hand. Next thing you know, it felt like I blinked and I was on the floor. I just jumped up like, huh? And I looked. I said, it's getting dark. I said, what time is it? I said, oh, shit. I was still living at my mom's crib at that time. I said, Mom, what? She said, yeah, your phone done rang like 40 times. I stuck my head in there. I saw you was on the floor snoring. She was like, no, I ain't even bother you. I had to piss like a racehorse. It was crazy. Passed out. I was literally up for 2 days. I can't do that no more. Hell no. Anyway. Y'all subscribe to my Patreon. I got some stories to tell, man. Bouncing at these clubs was something different, bro. I seen so much. I seen some things that I like to forget. Like, oh my God, what? Bouncing for these rappers back then. Yikes. And y'all make sure that y'all follow me on Rumble too. I can get a little more loose over there. But the unedited stuff, you go follow me on Patreon. But this was absurd, man. This Jamal Bryant is full of shit. And just watch from the outside. That's gonna crumble from within. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she's an F bag. But another thing I want to talk to you about, because the society's cooked. What the fuck is this? I'll tell you. This is a trans lawmaker. Its name is Stacey Marie Lofton. It's a biological male identified as a woman. And it entered a guilty plea in federal Boston court after the charges related to their participation, because he has a mate, in the creation of child SA material. This thing is 41 years old. You ready for this? Served as a Democratic state representative in New Hampshire from 2020 until 2022. Lofton resigned after being arrested for stalking. Now, let me pause right there for a second. Jeff Sparks, salute, my brother. Let me pause right there for a second. Legacy of Reign, salute. That alphabet community, let me say this. I don't believe that all of them are like this at all. I don't believe that. Okay? But when you start bombarding people with that I'm non-binary or I'm him, her, it when whatever it is you are, or you say you are, you're based off of your biology is based off of how you feel, which is complete and total nonsense. Okay? I've had this conversation before. What's happened is there you have the alphabet community, and then you got the people with mental problems who are just freaks who've attached themselves to that community. You understand what I'm saying? It's similar to there's Black power and Black pride, Black Americans. Tariq Nasheed calls us FBAs, and I get it. And then you got everything that is Black, but they say, no, I'm not Black, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm not Black, I'm Jamaican. I'm not Black, I'm African. I'm not Black, I'm Somalian, which is African. I'm not Black, I'm Dominican. I'm not Black, I'm Boricua. And that all changes when their community gets a spotlight shined on them. And what do? They run to the FBAs, the Foundational Black Americans, and say, hey, man, they had war with us. No, MFA, they had war with you. Because remember, you're not Black. All this thing going on with the Somalis, and I got to do a separate live about that. I said, man, all right, whatever. They milking the system. It's the systems. They have to fix it. We all pay taxes, but somehow they got in here and they started doing all of this, right? And I wasn't paying attention to it until all these old videos, Somalians from the UK and in America. You know what they were saying? I am not Black. We are not Black. We are Arab Muslims. I am not Black. You're not Black. Most of y'all are darker than me. You know what y'all are? Y'all are funny looking. Long faces and long noses. Who's that cartoon character with the long face and long nose? The white guy. He has a long face and long nose. A chubby white guy looking dude. I never knew his name, but they look like that guy. You're not black, but you sure do try and amplify the bad parts of the culture that we don't like. For instance, wearing nigger nonsense and displaying extremely huge wads of cash. So when you say you're not a crook, like that kid that got on there with those goddamn glasses and said that somebody broke into their their daycare and stole all the books that explained their finances. Someone pointed out, yo, those glasses he got on is $2,000. I said, huh, really? And then they found his Instagram. What do you think he's doing? He with his buck teeth, he's acting like a nigga that we don't claim. He's in the club with a $10,000 chain on or whatever and taking pictures with wads of cash, acting like a ignorant nigger. So you don't want to be black, but you're doing that. You take all the negative that we try, real FBAs try to distance ourselves from, and you behave like that. And now Trump's on y'all ass. They done sent YouTubers over there to put the magnifying glass on you, and all of a sudden, you're black? No. We're minding our FBA business. That's what we're doing. But anyway, back to this dude. What I'm saying is, the relation to what I'm saying is, they want to attach themselves to something when they need our help. Now, what this freak, I bet what he's attempting to do is attach himself to that elemental P community. And what I'm saying is the elemental P community needs to say, nope, no. You're just a weirdo. And you sided with us because it gave you a cloak. And these dudes, people are so scared to speak out against these freaks because this guy's a freak. They've literally bullied themselves into Congress positions. To the point where I've heard gay people say, our struggle is just like the black struggle. Pause. Hell no. Stop it. Y'all didn't live, y'all don't come from a body of land that was conquered by everybody in the globe. Oh, Brian, I ain't hear about that. It'll come out. And when it comes out, I'll speak on it. And if he is, kudos to him. I've washed my hands of Floyd Mayweather Jr. If that's true, let him deal with it. Let him deal with it. But when, if it makes bigger news, I'll speak on it. Until then, salute to you, brother. Exactly. Yes, indeed, boxing. Yeah, that's what they tried. That's what they tried to do. They said the gay struggle is like the black struggle. Don't do that. Do not attach yourself to our struggle. Don't do that. Now, that's just you. And some of them are bullies. I was watching a clip from a basketball game, and some black dude with dreads is singing the national anthem, and he's doing this ridiculous dance off every bar of the national anthem. In the Rockets, red glare. Arms in the air, then he's turning around, and at the very end, you know what he says? The land of the free and the home of the gay. And people were like, what? They were about to applaud, but they were like, wait, what? You heard some dude, the arena was dark, but you heard some dude, whoever was filming it, there was some dude like near him. He said, oh, for Christ's sake, I fought for this country. Why is he violating the national anthem? Just to make a personal statement. Why would you do that? There's some countries that'll kill you for that. We're not like that. Well, we're savage in our own right. But for that, I'm talking about. That was very offensive, man. What made him think that was okay? I was watching this old clip from a few years ago. Malik Yoba was on the Breakfast Club and some pillow biting dude. It may have been the same dude that was singing the national anthem. Malik Yoba was trying to make a point, and he referred to them as something like a homosexual or something, but it wasn't disrespectful. But dude checked Malik Yoba and invented a new word. Like, this is how you're supposed to refer to us. I couldn't have been sitting there. I'd have been like, yo, dude, let me explain something to you. All right, first of all, I'm gonna call you what you are. All right, you're gay. All right, you're lucky I'm not calling you the F word because you're violating me right now. And I don't tolerate disrespect. Leave me alone and let me make my point. You're not gonna bully me because they think they're protected people. And they do get more protection than black people. Yeah, I know, Jose. There's certain countries you can't do shit like that in. Yeah, I know. He'd have walked right off that basketball court into a hail of bullets or something. Somebody would have beat his ass. I watched that shit. I said, yo, Malik, man, I'd have told him, yo, bro, listen, I'm going to say what I want and don't interrupt me again. Because I don't care how much of a woman you think you are, you're a man. And we're going to start throwing hands and you will be going for yours. That's on Jesus. Yeah, Stephen. Yeah, that's what that was. Doctors assign genders at birth. Man, what are you talking about? You know how a JJ looks? You know how a penis looks? Now, there are situations where I think it's called a hermaphrodite. And, you know, that's where science has to kick in. But that's not like if doctors are delivering babies for 30 years, they might see that maybe once or twice. It's not too common. And listen, let me talk to you women for a moment. When y'all start talking about how women were treated, and I know there's some little village somewhere in, what was it, South America or Africa somewhere, where they cut off the clitoris of the girl so they don't have no sexual experience or whatever. That's savage. That's not what we do here. And stop going to the farthest extreme. We don't do that here. We don't. Yeah, I know, Stephen. They didn't give any pushback because they're scared of that damn community. You know why? That community is everywhere. Now, you see right here, they're in politics. They're all over the music industry. I have seen them. I've seen them. There's a lot of rappers you never heard of. There's a lot of singers you've never heard of, and they were super talented. But you know what happened? They didn't let their cheeks get clapped. I'm telling you. I've met a bunch of them. Oh, yeah, I was going to sign with this and this and this and that. Well, what happened? Because I see you singing and everything. Well, this is what happened. I've had women tell me stories, and they just say, no, I'm just not going to do this. I had dudes tell me stories. They said, nope, not worth it. No, not doing it. Not going to do it. They also do it in sports. Okay? And I'm not going to get into the boxing thing, but yeah. Remember who I talked to. Y'all forgot when Rachel wrote in the chat, it's weird what you hear, these fighters on the undercards, when they get a little drink in them, and they start spilling the guts about, hey man, how did you got on that undercard? You made about 20 racks. How'd you pull that off? Oh no, I'm talented. Then they start drinking and then they start crying. Oh, I had to go to this hotel room and stop talking. Stop talking. Okay, we get it. Absolutely. Say no more. In fact, say less. In fact, say nothing at all. Stop talking. You said enough. It's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay because I don't want to hear it. Go get therapy. But you got this guy in the Democratic Party, as it turns out. This clown. He got tried and convicted, I believe. What does it say? He was down for stalking. First elected in New Hampshire, 2012, but resigned before taking office because of a previous felony level credit card fraud. You hear that? In 2012 was credit card fraud. Almost a decade later, he's voted into Congress. The state representative and his romantic partner, Lindsey Groves, were indicted on 3 counts of sexual exploitation of children in 2023 of August. Groves, who worked at a daycare in Tinsboro, Massachusetts, took naked photos of some of the children between the ages of 3 and 5 in a daycare bathroom and sent them to Lofton. You understand what I'm saying? You hear this? By the way, Light-Eye, salute. By the way, look at this picture. You don't see anything wrong with his shirt? This is why I bring it full circle, y'all. You see something wrong with his shirt? What was I talking about at the top of this show? The church, right? Uh-huh. Look at his shirt, man. You see that? See what I mean? Make sense? See that cross? See what I mean? It's a problem. This is a whole problem. Now I'm sure Miguel and his boyfriend will look at that and look at this and say, "Oh, you got a problem with my community?" No, I don't. I got a problem with the widow. You should have a problem with the widows that attach themselves to the community. I'm as pro-black as it gets. And I will march and stand on the right side of justice. But you know what I'm not going to do? I don't want no one around me talking about, kill Whitey. No. Bro. I got a lot of white friends. And no, not all of them are like that, bro. What are you talking about? Hell no. I ain't on that. You grew up somewhere different where, you ain't seen a good white person. I understand that. But that's not my experience. You understand? You women, you good women, you know what y'all problem is? Y'all stand too close to the smuts. The sisterhood keeps y'all quiet. So when you see Dr. Cheyenne Bryant dressed like a complete smut with all these degrees, and you see Jamal Bryant buy his wife a Smuts outfit and she parades around with it, rather than say, hey, no, that's inappropriate, sis, you exercise your right to remain silent for fear of the sisterhood. And y'all don't call this crap out. There's more women defending this bullshit than a little bit. And it's disgusting. So to the alphabet community, I need to see y'all marching and whatever y'all doing and condemning this fool. And say, no. This ain't us. The couple says thousands. They sent thousands of text messages about the children with Lofton requesting access to have sex with them. The photos were taken by Groves between May and June of 2022. Groves pleaded guilty last month. Lofton and Groves will be sentenced February. They face between 15 to 30 years in prison, a fine of up to $250,000, and a lifetime supervised release. Boy, 15 years ain't enough. I ain't making it up. Now, what's up with this? Y'all know about this guy? Pastor Donnie McChurkin, named in a New York lawsuit alleging years-long sexual abuse. Accuser claims abuse occurred during the Pray the Gay Way. Yo, what the, bro? Y'all are reading this? False prophets lie for profit. This is what I'm talking about. When y'all paid attention, when y'all, look, man, again, I don't want to preach to y'all. When we got away from the word, and I'm no expert in the word, but I know enough. We got away from the word, and you fell asleep at the wheel. You know how I can relate this to y'all? What is my major problem with the PBC after the Fury and Wilder situation? When I came home after Wilder Fury 2, I was confused. I'm like, what the fuck was wrong with Deontay? He looked like he couldn't even stand up before we knew what was going on. When I came home and looked at the post fight, I said, who the fuck let Larry Merchant in here? What is going on? And he said what he said. I ain't going to replay it. He said what he said. And I got mad because I said, wait a minute. I support the PBC. The leadership is Al Heyman, but God damn it, he can't oversee everything. But somebody fell asleep at the wheel, or there was nobody driving. It was on autopilot the whole time. Because if anything, Larry Merchant, who's made his career disrespecting black fighters, you mean to tell me that nobody said, hey, man, anybody but him? Because he's not going to give credit to a black fighter when he wins. And when they lose, he's going to celebrate. Because that's all he's ever done. That's all he's ever done. I feel the same way about the black church. You went from sisters being fully clothed saying, I'm smart. I can make millions of dollars. I can make millions of dollars and be a full-time wife or mother. I could cook, I could clean, and that's my job. The husband can also cook and also clean, but his job is to take on the weight of the world, and he protects us. That's the team. That's the 50-50 right there. But everybody's out of sorts. You got the women dressed like hookers in there. Then you got niggas. What the fuck is Pray the Gay Way? What is that? You know what? Don't answer me. I know y'all don't. If you know, look, I'm not attacking your sexuality. But I looked at this and I'm like, wait a minute. And on top of that, somebody is alleging years-long sexual abuse. Hey, man, I got a question.
Can I ask you what's going on? 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 Can I ask you what's going on?
Fuck is that? He won a Grammy, man? What is this? Now, he denied the allegations. But come on. Fired by a man who said he sought out the pastor after reading his book about overcoming the curse of homosexuality. Donnie McClurkin Grammy-winning gospel singer and pastor, sexually abused as a young man over several years, and wrote an apology email declaring himself a dirty old man, according to the new lawsuit. Giuseppe Coletto says in the lawsuit that he was struggling to reconcile his sexuality with his faith when he sought out McClurkin in 2003. Disgusted reading this, y'all. The lawsuit says Coletto, then 21, went to McClurkin's church in Long Island. Oh, they're in New York, for Pete's sake. Damn. After reading his autobiographical, it's late, y'all, give me a break. His book, which described how God helped him overcome the curse of homosexuality. At the church event, McClurkin talked about being raped as a child, which resonated with he's saying it resonated with him because of it was similar to his story. Coletto said in an interview to NBC News, he said that he was brought to meet McClurkin after the event, and the man took an immediate interest in him at first. And this is a quote: "At first, it was all very innocent and what I thought it was, mentoring." Coletto, he then said, but he now believes he was being groomed from the start. McClurkin began to molest Coletto during Pray the Gay Way. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because this shit is unfucking real. I can't believe I'm reading this. This is crazy. Spiritual sessions, the lawsuit says, and the abuse escalated over the next several years. During this period, Coletto worked as McClurkin's assistant and regularly traveled with him, according to the lawsuit. Coletto struggled to process these incidents of sexual abuse as McClurkin was both his mentor and employer, making it difficult for him to speak out about the abuse he had suffered, the lawsuit says. I'm not reading any more of this. This dude is 66 years old. And McClurkin says the allegations are categorically false. Now, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. This dude, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Hope it's not true. Salute to my brother Eric Jordan, that super chat. He says that's Miguel and Jerome, and the machine clapping. Yeah.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
Salute. My brother iRock in the building. Salute. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making light of this. If he did this shit, bro, go away. You know what I'm saying? If he did this. But what I'm pointing out in this show, two things. The collapse of the church because of its leadership, but who dictates the leadership? It seems like the women do, God damn it. And y'all are not, I mean, when I'm saying y'all, I'm talking about the women. Look, man, it's bad enough y'all are not suited to lead, but because look at who the fuck you're following. You want a good man, but you put this a dude like this in charge of a whole congregation? Are we for real? Are we for real? That's who's leading your congregation, a damn transformer. This is ridiculous. This sister's walking behind this dude that bought her a horse dress. You got a doctor dressed like a smut, and I'm looking at these women following behind dudes like this. What are we doing here? Here's the answer. Nothing. Nothing. We're not doing anything. Now, how do you fix this? Starts with the women, but the women have a problem with leadership. No man can tell me what to do. I'm my own person. I don't need no man. They spend more time fighting with men and talking about there aren't no leaders. Well, but look who they chose to be their leader. A man that's committed adultery several times, got kids out of wedlock, and buys his fucking wife a fucking dress like that. And I see women in the congregation egging that on. All those women, and there were no spring chickens in there either. All those women, eventually when they get with a man, they're gonna test him. Ethel, you can't leave the house like that. Why not? Ethel, your boobs are hanging out. You sneeze and your D cups are flying out your the V-neck. You can't wear that outside. Why not? Well, you're gonna attract a lot of attention. Well, so what? Look, Ethel, I'm not comfortable with you wearing that. Why are you acting insecure? Why are you being disrespectful? Forget me for a minute. You don't respect yourself enough to cover up? You know what? Forget dinner, Ethel. Your fat ass ate too much anyway. And that's the end of fucking Uncle Earl and Ethel. Because Ethel 50 and she having a midlife situation, but she listening to this goddamn pastor who might be a pillow biter at that. Yes, indeed. I agree with that. You know what the difficulty is, though? The difficulty is society they've poisoned these queens to such a bad degree. And they have they've listened to every bad situation and they've made it their own. I've seen women grow up in 2-parent households and not a care in the world, but they trauma bond for no reason with the women that has real problems. And it's like, you know, I could look at a dude and say, look, I feel for that guy's situation, but it wasn't me. This is why I look at Tank fans and say, yo, look, you ain't grow up like that. Why are you identifying with this guy? You understand what I'm talking about? So these women, you could be a righteous man, but they choose to follow the wrong man. Case in point, this motherfucker's church. Why are women clapping for that dress and his explanation? It was bad. So I always stand by what you're saying. You know, men always, walk in the path of righteousness. Lead by example. It's one thing to preach the good word, but, see it. You want the woman that says, you know what, I can follow that. Don't want the woman that's going to say, you know what, when he fucks up, I'm going to be right there to tell him about himself. You don't want that chick. Now, do righteous women exist? Yes. There's few in the chat right now. Yes. They absolutely do. But who gets the goddamn megaphone? Pastors like this. And it's aggravating. It's aggravating. I'm so glad I'm not in the dating market because it is so difficult. Few of my buddies are single and they're my age and they're childless, by the way. One of them is divorced. The other one, he was too picky when he was young, and now when he's older, it's like, you know what? Dating right now is fucking impossible. But we in our 50s now. He's made peace with the idea that, you know what? At this point, you find a chick our age or close to it, I ain't dating chicks unless their kids are grown and out the crib. That's a whole other thing. That's right, Auntie Jenny. Once you get away from the word, it's over. And that's what I see in this dude's church. And it's evidenced through his track record. He has an issue with infidelity. He likes women. I don't like what he said about Cam Newton's legs either. He got something else going on. So you got these queens choosing. And that's when I saw that church, I said, look at this. All these older women choosing to follow this guy. Exactly, Queen Shower. It belongs to the wicked. But that's why it's absolutely imperative that we stand on our principles, man. And that's what I said at the top of the show. Once we got away from the word, you see, we're living in anarchy. And I was talking to my sister earlier today. She said, if you read the Bible, those passages are jumping off the pages. And I'm no expert, but I know some things. There's some things that's happening in real time that I say, you know, that reminds me of a passage in the Bible. Then I got to make a goddamn phone call. And they say, yeah, that I'm shit. You remember that? Yeah, I remember that. Well, we're living in those times right now. Yeah. The International Quiet Storm salute. That's right. The word is a living word. We can ignore it all we want. But there's things happening, and I'm like, man, that's awfully familiar. Because, like I said, I'm not even gonna front on you. I'm not no super duper Christian. I'm not in church but I've been around a lot, and there's things happening today that jumps out at me. It's like, wait a minute, Pastor Baker told me about this literally 25 years ago, longer than that, like 27 years ago, damn near 30 years ago. Wait a minute, this is what he said. Oh, wow. Yeah. And I'm not going to here tell anyone that they're condemned and they're going to hell. I ain't doing all of that. I'm just pointing out what I'm seeing right now. And when I say, how did we get here? I'm sure there'll be a woman that'll look at this and get offended that I don't like how these sisters dressed. I don't like their presentation. And what would they argue me about? Yes, that's what they want to do, though. She can do what she wants. Yeah, that's right. She can do what she wants. It's disrespectful to herself. And it's disrespectful to her man. And the loudest chick in the room talking about she don't need no man. Guess what? She don't have a man. I got another video I'm going to do. I'm telling you, Pep Talk's going to be live this year, bro. I'm kicking ass and taking names. Oh yeah, Shower. I know. Because truth is truth. Yeah. Exactly, Quiet Storm. My aunts my aunts, I don't recall. And my cousins, my female cousins and my nieces, they don't dress like this is foreign to us. But it's normalized in the world. And it's like, what the fuck? What is this? Oh, yeah, Dion. Me and 78 cooked on some stuff before, but I plan on doing a big panel. I'm going to get the General and I'm going to get Blu-ray. And we're going to cook. But we worked in the past before, definitely. But in no way, shape, or form is this acceptable. And the only women that agree with any of this are miserable. They're absolutely miserable. I can tell you about the women that agree with this. They are single, and then they'll stand on themselves being single by saying, I'm not in a relationship because I don't want to be, which is bullshit. You get around women like that, a man, those same women will be like, well, men don't talk to me, and ignore what they're putting out, because you get what you put out, right? What did I just say? You get what you put out. If you didn't know who these women are, and this Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and Jamal Bryant's wife just walk into the club dressed like that, you're thinking it's party time. The last thing you would think on your mind is that they're married. We're in the era where women are going on these girls' trips. I literally saw a video where women say, yo, look, we're here to hoe and go. That's what they said. Mook, what up, Mook? Jersey. We're here to hoe and go. And that's what they're there for. They're going on girls' trips. They're going to Jamaica, getting pounded out. This is what's happening right now. And that smut behavior has become normalized. So when you get with a dude and then he finds out after solidifying a relationship with you, hey, you know, me and the girls, you know, every April we go on a boat ride and then we end up in the Caribbean. Huh? Just you and the girls? Yeah. Y'all go to the Caribbean, the romantic ass Caribbean on a boat. All right, that's cool. I'm off on it around April 2. Why don't I just roll with y'all? Oh, no, it's a girls trip. Listen, let me tell you something. I said earlier that these women are behaving like the men that they say they detest. Ladies that are a certain age, y'all were taught to be fully clothed, show respect for yourself, don't sleep around. And don't, Andrew, what up, Drew? Don't date no boy that's out there like that because he's just trying to get in your pants. I'm sure your father or your mom or your uncle or your brother told you that. Those girls' trips, I need you to pay attention. Let me ask the ladies something. What happens if you hear about a bunch of dudes getting together and going to the Dominican Republic? What does that mean? Yo, where you going? Oh man, yo, me and 7 of mine, man, we got a flight. We going to we booked out a whole Florida hotel. We're going to DR. And what does that mean? We going to DR. What does that mean? You already know what time it is. I'm showing my age right now. We all going, we going, Vince, what up? We going to DR. I've been hearing about those Dominican Republic trips since I was like 17 to 18. Like my brother's friend. My brother never went, but my brother's friends. My brother's not like that. His friends, they used to come back with the disposable cameras. The shit that I met, bro. And at that time in my life, here I go. I said my brother, I'm bugging, not my brother's friends. My boy's brother's friends. My brother's laid back. He keeps to himself. My boy's brother's friends. I used to wait for him to come back and be like, yo, you got the disposables? Like, yo, we getting them developed right now. The things that I've seen in those pictures, bro. Crazy shit. Crazy. So now, I used to hear women talking about, oh my God, they going to those Dominican, they going to DR. Oh my God, they fucking all those dirty girls. Oh my God, they're going to come back with AIDS. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Years later, y'all got these girls' trips. You want to know how I know about the girls' trips? Because when I was working and ended up in Miami, in Virginia, Philadelphia, some of those cities, the beaches, you know, it was hot, spring break and shit like that. Or even when I was just down there chilling, I saw mobs of just women. And what do you think they were doing? Walking by us, grabbing our arms, pitching our butts, literally saying, come to our room, come to our room, to get it off. And I said, look at that, behaving like the men that they were raised to detest. You know why? Because they're fighting some sort of internal fight. If men can do it, we can do it. Okay, fine. We're not stopping you. Go ahead. But when nothing works out like how you want it to, That's when you go running off the stage on Maury Povich. You don't know if it's your husband or the one night stand you had on the girls trip. Women telling on other women, yo, I was on Jamaica and I was getting the body scrubbed and I looked to my left and this chick was getting pounded on that raft. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. But don't take my word for it. I see the world for what it is. And, you know, I'm not the one to give anybody advice. You know, fellas, don't be like these dudes here. If you go to church, you know, pay attention to who is reading from that Bible. Black Martial Arts Society, salute. Pay attention who's reading you that word. I appreciate that, Quiet Storm. Thank you. Y'all go follow me on Patreon. Pay attention who's reading you that word. How could I believe what you say when I see what you do? Pay attention to your surroundings, to the people around you. Oh man, that's bad, Dion. That's crazy. Some people are just caught in that matrix. It's all bad. I'm not saying church is bad. There's a lot of great churches out there, but you monitor what's going on here. And now we're in a place where we got to monitor our doctors, you know. Check the fruit on the tree. I know what that is. Check the fruit on the tree. It's like that with these doctors. It's like that with these YouTubers. Everybody knows shit, but they don't know shit. Literally saw one of those Twitter hangouts where these black women, that's a whole nother show, man. Talking to white men about us. And the white man is asking her, what exactly do you want us to do? I mean, what are you not getting from black men that you want? And how do you want us to fix it? Don't you know that bitch said force? Force? And this is why black men are scared to, not even scared. They don't even want to bother dealing with those black women. Because however they're living and what their expectations are, the man is saying, nah, that's not for me. I'm going off to do my thing. I don't want to deal with you in your attitude or whatever you got doing. And they went up to a white man and said they wanted him to meet black men with force because we're not conforming to what they want us to do. The women don't want what they want us to do for them. And they're talking to white men. And this is what I'm saying. Y'all see why I had a problem? Y'all remember that video when Tank Davis had the police called on him by that black woman when she took his toothbrush and dipped it in a dirty diaper and tore the house up, and he videoed it. That was the smartest thing he ever did. And then he shows up to the cop showed up to the house and he's standing outside. That could have went left. Y'all really don't understand. That could have went left for that kid. I'm calling him a kid. He's 30. And I know I don't like him. But in that instance, once we got to the truth, I said, nah, that bitch is crazy. And she tried to, once these women call the police on you over something frivolous, she's trying to get you killed. And that's what I said. I lost it. If y'all been following me that long, y'all lost it. I lost it. I said, no, she tried to get him killed. That's bullshit. So all of you niggas that say, oh man, you be hating on Tank. No. I speak up when right is wrong is wrong. And that girl tried to get him killed. And then said, we going to therapy for help, that we need help. No, bitch, you need help. Because I don't think he ever beat on her. But he has on video tearing up the house while she's holding the fucking baby. because he knew he was going to go upside her head. And you know what? In that instance, she deserved that. And I said that. Spit on him and everything. Yeah, Jose. 2 of the whitest cops showed up. Now, those guys, they showing up to a black athlete's house. And that kid got more money than what they're going to make in the next 7 years on a job. That's unforgiving. So, of course, they want to blow his brains out. And she calling them folk on him. That was bullshit. And I spoke on it. I think I did 2 lives on that. She tried to get him killed. And I did not like that. That was ridiculous. And if you follow me, you know what? I spoke up on that. Filthy bitch. But if you dial it back, what was the conditions in which he met her? Brothers, you got to make better decisions. Sisters, y'all got to make better decisions. And all of this because we got away from the word. Even if you know the word a little bit, you know what to do and what not to do. You real queens are not for profit. These other beings are. They're false prophets and they lie for profit. You real queens are not for profit. So I salute y'all. And the best we could do is lead by example if they even paying attention. If they not, like Stormy says, like the queen just put in the chat, not all of us, everyone ain't gonna make it. I'm at peace. I'm living for other people too. I ain't gonna talk y'all to death. I'll be live tomorrow morning. I was a little early this morning because I had a doctor's appointment. But I'll be going live at regular time tomorrow morning. Chop up on this boxing. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Patreon. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Rumble because there's going to be certain things I talk about on Rumble for Pep Talk that I'm not going to do here because YouTube is silly. But whatever, man. Always make way. You know, so salute to y'all. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelle, the Cash App, the Super Chat. Share the video, hype the video. You know, great show. And Pep Talk's going to be on fire this year, man. I promise y'all. Y'all stay prayed up and take it gently.
The Painful Excellence Podcast.